Brandon, CERAWeek is just around the corner. What are you expecting there?
Yeah, Kevin, it's great to see you. Look, I'm excited for this year. It's always a great event for us to be at. You know, kind of all of our customers, all of our partners, industry experts, everything like that. And so this year, I think it's going to be talking about how is the energy transition progressing? Is it going fast enough? What are the concerns that we have? What's the government role? What's private industry role? These kind of topics. And so I'm certainly looking forward to being a part of those discussions and helping us have a pragmatic approach to how we try and address this thing.
Now, I know that one of the panels you're on is discussing decarbonization. So just on that topic, you know, are we going at the pace we need to be?
Yeah, I think we probably all have concern over, especially, you know, meeting the 1.5 degrees and all these sort of things. And so what we're focused on at ABB is what can we control? And so rolling out the technology, consuming energy more efficiently, like we're already doing. You know, you've heard me say before, the greenest unit of energy is the one you don't consume. So what can we do with respect to that? Trying to make sure we're heard around policy and getting stable policy around the world. And trying to influence that in the markets that we participate in. And so, you know, I think we're all concerned, but we have to focus on what we can control. And, you know, kind of one of my new messages here is we're not after perfection, we're after progress. And so I think that's a really important thing for us to focus on.
That's a good one. Now, I was at Distributech last week in Orlando, and I must say the impact of the Inflation Reduction Act on that industry was impressive. You mentioned policy. In terms of governments around the world, we've got a lot of stimulus dollars and whatever. Any other role of government in terms of policy that they need to start doing? Yeah,
I think you see it vary by region, whether it's carrots or whether it's sticks. And I think important is that they're doing something. You know, my kind of ultimate or bucket list or utopia, I guess, would be kind of common policy, because it's one sky that things are going up into. So it doesn't matter which country it's originating from, which industry it's coming from, any of these sort of things. So how can we try and drive some consistency to it? I think that would be the big thing that we should all ask for.
Now, you mentioned, obviously, the greenest energy is the energy you don't consume. Yet, when I look at a lot of reports from, you know, practically anybody around the world, we're going to need more energy on the planet over the next couple of years. So how do you see the energy mix playing out? Yeah,
no question. I mean, I think, you know, there's kind of a direct correlation between GDP growth and energy consumption. So you can see it all over the world. You still have, what is it, 1.5 billion people that are at an energy poverty level. And so as those economies come up, as those countries mature, they're going to require more energy. And so how do we make the net additions have lower emissions? You know, everyone talks about zero carbon. You know, what I'm pushing for is a conversation about, hey, let's make the existing assets cleaner and greener and more efficient. And let's make the new assets as low carbon as we can. But then that goes to mix. And so, you know, we're very big on it being an and equation, not an or equation.
Now, as you say, oil and gas is not going to go away, right? So in terms of, they have to balance, they have to invest, and yet they have to balance the whole decarbonization. So how do you play that?
Yeah, I think there's two real avenues. One is they're trying to clean up their existing operations, and we have to help them do that with technology. The second one is they are going to be the ones that I think invest probably the most dollars into some of these new industries that are coming up to convert to green hydrogen or the different colors, whether it's that or ammonia, whatever it is. I think if you look at announcements from ADNOC and from ExxonMobil and from if you look at what NOCs are spending right now in Saudi or in other places, there's tremendous spend happening on cleaner fuels, cleaner energy. And so I think they play a big part of the solution, quite honestly.
Now, I suppose back to Distributech, and obviously it's focused on the electric grid. And the whole concept of balancing supply and demand was a huge topic there. Distributed energy resources, DERs. In the grander scheme, how do you see supply demand playing out? Because obviously it's not the same model plays out in every part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, the grids, the energy grids need significant investment. So to bring all of these renewables online, there's significant investment. We're doing some great projects in parts of Europe because there's tons of renewables coming on. And with the intermittency and different things, you have to do different things to the grid in order to have that stability. So that's a big investment that they're doing in order to prepare for the renewables that are coming. The transmission lines, all sorts of stuff needs huge investment. And then I think there's an energy storage component. So, I think that technology will continue to mature. And there's a energy storage compartment or role that comes into play. And so I don't know what the ultimate balance looks like. I think investment is needed. One of the big challenges, Kevin, that we're always talking about and is kind of the elephant in the room is someone has to pay for it. So who's paying for these investments? Is it you and I as the consumer? Is it governments that are doing things through credits or these sort of things? Or is it taxes for carbon tax, or how is it getting funded? But that's a really important part because the grids need significant investment. I read an article, I think it was $800 or $900 million a year that you're talking about. So, I mean, these are big numbers.
No, look at the electrification of transport systems, just the investment in the grid to get the power to those places, or storage local or whatever. Yeah. So that's a trick. Now, I suppose, let me throw in, we always have a chat about technology. At CERAWeek last year, we were chatting about digital twins and carbon capture. And what have you seen in technology in the last 12 months?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of startups. One thing that ABB is doing is we're trying to invest partial investments into technology companies to help them grow, to help them scale. We've acquired a PACE CCS technology on the carbon capture side, partnering with Computer Modeling Group in order to go from point of emittance through the reservoir modeling, complete end-to-end digital twin, simulation, everything. I think last time we talked about Coolbrook, they continue to advance on their testing. So they've burned naphtha on the heating values into very high temperatures. So I think those things are all great developments that are just a few areas where we're trying to invest and see things go. You continue to see electrolyzer technology that's growing and hopefully getting to scale, which I think is super important. And so I think the technologies continue to advance. There's capital available for those companies. There's a big interest from the markets in those companies. And so I'm optimistic. I think we just have to continue to focus on speed. It was kind of your first question. And we're still talking a lot about pilots. We're still talking about proof of concepts. And so sometimes it can be frustrating or feel like the tires are kind of spinning. But I'm optimistic, I would say.
I was chatting to somebody last week at Distributech, and his board was, we need to get away from pilotitis. Too many pilots. I thought it was a brilliant one, so he gets credit for that one.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You see some NOCs that are going forward with big projects, and they're just doing it, and they're going to figure it out by doing it. And so I think that's a great kind of model to look at, that they're going to figure it out by doing it.
Now, I suppose the last one on technology, and you know me, I'm a big fan of technology, but as cool as technology is, as I always say, technology is the easy bit. It's the people, the employees, the consumers, the people. Do you see any differences or anything this time around?
I mean, I'm over here in Europe this week, and I think there's a fantastic kind of mental state of mind from the culture here in terms of embracing things. So consuming less and really pushing for the energy transition to be real. And I think that's spreading. I think if you look at the younger generations, it's very high as kind of their purpose. And that when I came into ABB, my purpose wasn't something that was on my mind. That wasn't really a consideration for me. And so I think the younger generations are going to demand it. I think that the boards of public companies are going to demand it. The amount of KPIs that we're now tracking internally at ABB for our Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3, avoided emissions, everything on our products that we're trying to track on what's the carbon footprint of those products. All of this stuff is just growing and growing and growing and growing. And so, I think it's not an if, it's a when, first off. And so these are some of the teething pains that I think we're all going through in order to make progress. And again, we're not chasing perfection, we're chasing progress.
Oh, agreed. Well, unfortunately, I won't be at CERAWeek this week, but hey, have a good week, and I'll be following you online.
Yeah, I love. I always appreciate chatting with you. I love following you on social media, and appreciate what you're doing for the industry. You know, I think getting people's voices out there, seeing what's happening in technology is critically important. So really appreciate you.
Hey, good stuff. Have fun.
Yeah, see ya.